So if you're new to yin, essentially what we're going to do is we'll probably do maybe like 6 to 8 poses throughout the next hour, and we're going to hold them for a bit. So instead of moving through things really quickly, we're going to focus on just being still in the poses, and we're hoping to feel some sensations. So it could be a lot, it could be a little. I'll cue and say where you may feel it, and things like that. So props, if you want to have anything near you, you can use, if you have yoga props, go ahead and grab them. If you have bolsters or blankets or blocks, you feel free to have them nearby. You can also just use towels or couch pillows or blankets or pets if they're being still. So just thinking of using those props to fill the space so that way you can relax into the shapes a little bit more. So we'll get started in a seated position today. So you're welcome to sit up on a blanket or a pillow if it helps to elevate your hips a bit, and just find a comfortable position with the legs. So that could be a cross. Maybe you just want your legs out in front of you. Just starting to find a place where you can be still. And oftentimes before you're able to be still, you do need to feel like you're moving around a bit first. So feel free to wiggle a little bit to kind of check in and start to tune in before you find that stillness. And of course, if at any point you feel like you really need to move, listen to your body and move. If I offer anything that doesn't feel good in your body today, I'll always try to offer modifications, but if there's something else, feel free to take it. I care more that you're listening to your body than listening to me. So as you start to find stillness, feel free to close your eyes or maybe just soften your gaze. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Relax the jaw. And just begin to tune in and check in with how you're feeling today. Maybe you're focusing on sitting up nice and tall. Maybe you're allowing the spine to round a little bit. Sitting with intention, but also feeling your body release and your muscles release, even if they just release 1% more. Just inviting about 3 more rounds of breath here. Feeling the breath move in and out. And 1 more breath. If you'd like to find an intention with your breath, I just invite you to feel the breath lengthen throughout our practice today. Even if it's just a second, a half a second, a quarter of a second longer than the last. So you're welcome to keep your eyes closed or your gaze soft, but you'll cross the legs if they aren't already. If you've been sitting in a cross for a while, maybe switch. It should feel awkward if you switch. And then just start to round the spine from here. So feel the chin come to the chest. Feel like you're trying to press the back body behind you. And you can just stay and focus on this rounding, or you can start to lean a little forward, hinging at the hips. If you're feeling okay leaning forward and you're not sure where you want to stop, I recommend noticing when your hips start to want to lift up off the ground. That's where you'll want to take it a step back. And you're always welcome to slide something underneath your arms if you want to have something for your arms to rest on. Allow the head to be nice and heavy. If at any point you feel as though you're getting distracted, bring yourself back to your breath. You don't have to be mad at any distractions that come up, whether it's noises around you or to-do lists or anything like that. Just notice it and then come back to the breath. Just a few more rounds of breath here. And for these last few breaths, if you feel like you've created a little bit more space, maybe you play with coming a little bit more forward. Everything's just an option. We're just trying to be curious about how your body's feeling today. Last breath, wherever you're at. And slowly start to roll yourself up. If you had a prop in front of you, gently move it out of the way. And then uncross the legs. Maybe even lean back gently on the hands and just gently roll the shoulders back. Thinking more like you're trying to lengthen the spine, like you're going to come into a little back bend, but you're not necessarily going to do that. And then start to cross your legs the other way. Try not to think too hard about it. You know which way you were at, I promise. And just like we did before, you'll start to round the spine. Because your body is a little familiar with where we're going, you might be able to get there a little bit faster. And you're welcome to lean a little forward. Again, you can use a prop for your arms. or you can just let the hands rest on the ground is also a great option. Releasing through the back of the neck. Relaxing the jaw. A little while longer here. Feel free to play with going a little bit deeper. Feel free to stay where you are. Feel free to come out of it a little bit. Last breath here. And slowly starting to bring yourself up. Feel your spine sit up nice and tall. Feel free to extend the legs out. Then you can keep the legs extended out in front of you, but just move through a couple of cat-cows seated here. So open the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then round the spine. And open the heart and round. Just rinsing the body out after that forward folds. Let's do one more. Start to come back to center. And you're welcome to stay, keep your legs out long, or you can bend the legs again and cross them. But you'll start to walk your right hand over to the right side, and then just start to stretch through the left side of the body. So you can always use a prop to rest your right arm on. It doesn't matter if how far that arm goes out to the side. It's more about just getting a stretch on the left side. So we're trying to create a little breathing room on our left lung. Gaze wherever's comfortable on your neck. So maybe that's straight forward, or you can gaze down towards your right hand. Your left hand can rest wherever's comfortable. We're not going to stay here too long, just about 2 more breaths. Nice and slow, start to come up. And we'll go right to the other side, which is the left. If you need longer pause before you go to the second side, go for it. It should feel maybe a little crunchy at first. And again, wherever is comfortable with your neck and your head. So a couple more breaths here. Nice and slow, start to come all the way back up. And then just walk the hands over to the right. So again, you can always change the position of the legs. We're focusing more on the torso right now. So you can walk that right hand behind you, and maybe your left hand comes towards your right leg. Walk your hands so you rotate the other way. Yeah, we're not holding really long in any of these. Then walk yourself back to center. And extend your legs long if they aren't already. And take your legs wide. So it doesn't matter how wide your wide is, you decide. And rotate the upper body over your right leg. So that might determine how wide you want to go. And start to fold over the right leg. It doesn't matter how far the fold is. I like to put my hands on either side of the leg. Notice if your foot is really trying to help you stay in it. I noticed that I will like flex my foot really hard when I really just want it to relax. So it's okay if it takes a little while for that to happen. Also feel free to add any props. Can place a prop underneath the knee, either just your right knee or even both. Or underneath your arms if you want them to rest a little bit more. Always bringing yourself back to your breath. A few more breaths on this side. Start to come up just a little bit. Bring both hands to the inside of your right leg and rotate yourself to center. So you're still leaning a little bit forward, but then stay at the center and maybe walk your hands out a little bit more once you get there. Bring yourself up just a little bit so you can walk all the way over to the left. So we didn't stay in the middle too long, but we'll stay towards the left side a little bit longer. You're always welcome to play and go a little bit deeper, or to stay where you're at, or come out a little bit. Find a place where you can breathe calmly. You may feel sensation in the backs of the legs or the lower back, or even the side body a bit with the rotation. Almost done here, just a few more breaths. After your next full breath, slowly start to come all the way up, untwist, and take a couple of moments, any movement that feels good in your body. Maybe even just lifting the hips up off of the ground, because they've been there for quite some time now. You're gonna stay there for just a little longer, I promise. So when you feel complete with whatever movement your body was craving, you'll keep your left leg tucked in and extend just your right leg long. So the last time we folded over the leg, this time you're gonna walk the right hand like you're gonna bring it to the toes and lean over the right leg. So focusing on a bit of a side body stretch. Again, you can have something underneath the right leg. You can even place something underneath the left knee. You can use a prop underneath the arm. I like to just let my head rest in my hand. Otherwise, I feel like it's working too hard. So that's always an option too. It doesn't have to be deep. If you'd like to add another layer, maybe you reach your left arm up over your head. You can even do that and just take a couple of breaths and then bring it back down. Sometimes it can just feel more intense than we would like maybe for yin, but the option is there if you want it. Last couple of breaths here. And slowly start to bring yourself up. Feel free to take a moment pausing in the middle, or if there's a little movement that you want to take. And then you'll start to extend your left leg and bend your right leg. And so just like we did before, you'll lean over the left leg. Your sides are going to feel totally different. So you can just have that left arm rest on the left leg. You can place a pillow or something underneath your arms so you have a place to rest. I like to make a pillow with my hand, from my head. Otherwise my head wants to work way too hard to keep me here. Know that you might need a little bit more support, or you might need a little bit less support from side to side. Know that you always have the option to go a little deeper or pull it back a little. You do want to add the arm at some point. I will let you know when, so don't worry. I will cue that when we get to that time. If you'd like to add the arm, feel free to reach the right arm up overhead. Remember, your sides might feel different, so one side might feel really good and one side might not. Just a few more rounds of breath here. And after your next full breath, you'll slowly start to come up. Gently move any props you have out of the way. Take a few moments for any movement that feels good to rinse out. We're gonna get off of our sitting on our butts and come towards a tabletop position. You can do nothing when you get to your tabletop, or you can do a little cat-cow. It might feel really nice, especially after everything we have just been doing, to move the spine. In just a different way to the floor. And start to press your hips back to your heels and find your way to a child's pose. So again, this is a perfect place for a prop in either underneath your torso or behind your knees. You can even just put something underneath your forehead. It's really finding a place where the upper body can work a little less hard. A couple more breaths in this child's pose. And after your next full breath, you'll slowly start to lift yourself up and gently move your prop out of the way if you had one. We're gonna find our way onto our backs from here. We're not gonna go right into Shavasana yet, but if you know you like to have props, I recommend making sure you move them with you. So that way they're in hand's reach when you come to lay down. You don't have to work too hard to find them. So when you first arrive on your back, just take a few moments to settle in. So maybe that's moving a little bit. Even just being still and allowing your back body to start to release into the ground. You can keep your feet on the ground or extend them long for the moment. Just inviting a few moments to settle into this new perspective as you're on your back. Then start to extend your legs long if they aren't already. If extending both legs long is not comfortable on your low back, you can always just focus on extending one leg at a time and keep one foot on the ground. But then focus on taking the legs wide. So just like when we were in that straddle not too long ago, seated, think almost like you're trying to do that straddle again on the ground. Really bringing your awareness to the front of your hips. They've been in this flexed position our whole practice today. So it might take some time for it to realize that you're extending. And they might still be trying to work a little hard here. If both legs are straight, you'll stay there. If you were doing one leg at a time, nice and slow, you'll bend the straight leg and straighten the bent leg. And it might take a few moments for you to bring that awareness back to your hip, the front of the hip. And slowly feel like it's trying to release a bit. Last few breaths here. Nice and slow, you'll start to bring both feet back onto the floor. Probably moving one at a time. And then walk the feet a little wide and allow the knees to come towards each other. So they don't have to touch, but they can. Hug your knees into your chest. You can rock the knees a little bit from side to side. And begin to set yourself up for your final Shavasana. So that can be just laying flat on your back here with no props. That can be adding some props under the legs. If being on your back for a longer period of time is just not comfortable for your body, if what we just did was totally enough, then feel free to roll onto your side in a fetal position. You can also throw your legs up on a couch or a wall. Find a place where you can relax the body a little bit. And try not to work too hard. So you can take these last few minutes of class in complete and total gratitude for your practice today. Shavasana. And just starting to bring some awareness back into the space. Starting to bring some awareness back into the body. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Rolling out wrists and ankles. And rocking your head from side to side. When you feel ready, you can begin to roll on to your side. Pausing there. And then starting to press yourself up into a comfortable seat, keeping the focus inside. Bringing your hands to your heart center, gently bow your head. Thank yourself for making it to your mat today, for your practice, for your energy, for your breath, and most importantly, for yourself. Namaste.